What is up, everybody, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I have something very exciting for you. You see, I have this package here from Japan. Well, it's not actually from Japan. This is from Aiden, Aiden Key on Instagram. Thank you, Aiden, for a wonderful transaction. You can see it says RYWORX on the package because this, my friends, is a Balisong that I had twice. I originally ordered it a long time ago when it first came out, straight from RYWORX, and then I sold that one, and I regretted selling it, so I went and got another one, and then I had that for a minute, and then I eventually sold that one too. Which one is it? Well, that, my friends, is the RYWORX Omeme. Now, the Omeme is very cool. Omeme, meaning eyes in Japanese, meme, M-E-M-E, or the Omeme, if you want to be funny with it. Literally, these eyes. O in Japanese is just an honorific, so Omeme kind of means my eyes. It's like honorably saying eyes. It's more important than just saying eyes. You're saying like my eyes or something like that. So anyways, this is the Omeme, and it's a wonderful Balisong. I really love it. This is the Omeme on barrels, actually, which is super cool. It's a Balisong. If you don't know about the Omeme, this Balisong runs on bearings, kind of similar to the Maxace Covenant, which is why I was flipping that a moment ago. I'm also very happy about this one because this one has a buoy that I really wanted. Specifically, I would kind of call this a Japanese buoy because it's got this really interesting shape. It kind of reminds me of a Japanese Tonto, the way the blade is straight out until it bends at the tip. If you actually, here I can show you a Japanese Tonto, which is a Japanese Tonto. Obviously you have that straight line and then it curves at the tip. So this kind of does that with the buoy profile. There's very little curvature to the buoy, which I like. You know, even if you look at something like the EPS Wraith, you know, you can see this is a much straighter line. Even though the EPS Wraith is pretty straight, it still curves at an angle ever so slightly forward from here to there, whereas here it is just from there to there, a perfectly straight line in parallel with the rest of the knife. Similarly, like this buoy, you can see there's a major sort of dip to it. That's a recurve. So yeah, that's much more of a, I would call it a Japanese buoy, which I think is pretty cool because I think that's just a cool concept in general. The idea of a Japanese buoy, I don't think it's like really a thing, but I would describe this as that. So this has been something I've wanted for quite some time. The other thing that's really cool with this guy is that it comes with the trainer blade, and the trainer blade is what I've had before. I've had the trainer blade a number of times, and you'll actually notice something about the trainer blade. So the first thing I ever ordered this knife as was the trainer, and then the one I bought later was also the trainer. So I've had the trainer twice, and this is my first live blade Omeme, and I've wanted a live blade Omeme ever since selling the last trainer. It actually has to do with the inspiration behind the Vulp itself, and I think that's pretty cool. Look at that. See the bottle opener? This is where I was given the idea for the Vulp's bottle opener. So I actually have the physical thing to show y'all now, which is really cool. But yeah, this bottle opener idea stuck with me so much that later I reference it on the Vulp because I just think it's a really good idea. I think it's a really good way to put a usable thing into the Balisong blade while also having it genuinely be useful in a training sense. You know, it really does let you know when you mess up on a trick and go with the bite handle, it'll tell you, hey, something is wrong. Like you're messing up, and it'll grab you and let you know, which is fun. And exactly what a bite handle indicator is supposed to do. You know, it's supposed to let you know that you messed up without hurting you. And I think that the bottle opener does a great job of that. It's punishing, but not too punishing. So yeah, similarly, this is the actual blade, and this thing slaps. So with the barrel pivots, this thing just feels amazing to flip. I have tried 3 different configurations with the Omeme now. I've tried it with titanium spacers, and the titanium spacers were way too heavy. They counterbalanced the trainer blade a bit better because the trainer blade has always been very heavy. So they were good for that, but it still didn't flip great. And then I also tried aluminum spacers, and those were awesome. I really did like the aluminum spacers from RYWORX when I got that Omeme. It felt very good to flip with the aluminum. So that was what I tried. And then finally, there's this, which are stainless steel barrels. And these are probably my favorite now. Barrels on Balisongs are kind of underappreciated in general because they just look very bare bones. And sometimes they're executed extremely well, and sometimes they're not. And in this case, I would say they are executed extremely well. I like the way that they sort of give a hollow look to the end of the handle. That skeletonized look goes really well with the Omeme because there's such a... The whole pattern is there, but it's pretty minimal, I would say, even though it is literally a pair of eyes. Whereas, you know, the side of the blade, I think having it be this skeletonized thing contrasts the face with the minimal hole pattern really well. And so, yeah, that feels awesome. But yeah, this is just basically a quick update, and I wanted to show you guys this new Balisong that came in. I'm very excited about it. I think that it's going to be super duper fun. I've been flipping it almost nonstop for like almost a week now since I got it. It's really fun. One thing I will say is the bearings are really weird in it. So I've had an Omeme before, obviously, and the bearings have always been a bit of a problem for me. Like sometimes they're fine, sometimes they're not, but the biggest problem I had was with the screws backing out. It vibrates so much as you're flipping it because of those bearings that the screws would back out really bad and just be really annoying. I'd have to tighten my Omeme like every 5 minutes as I was flipping it. And I don't know how these screws are Loctited in there, and I'm not going to touch them because they haven't backed out at all yet. And I'm not going to touch it because the tune on this knife is literally perfect. There's like no play whatsoever. You can see that there's literally no play. But it feels more rickety than it is. Like, listen to this. Like, that sounds kind of rickety. Here's a bushing Balisong for comparison. Right? Just sounds like there's a lot more loose material on this Balisong. And then, like, here's the Covenant, for example. This is also bearings, but it's a little less rickety than this one. This one sounds looser. However, this one is actually insanely well tuned, even though it sounds kind of rickety. And what I'm wondering is that rickety sound from the barrels? I have a feeling the barrels might be a little loose in there or something, and I might need to put like a little piece of paper in there with the barrel to make it stop rattling. But at the same time, I honestly don't care because it's got great tolerances, and I really don't want to mess that up because I like the way it flips right now, and I don't want to have to go through the potentially arduous process of having to re-Loctite this so perfectly that it doesn't, you know, so that you get it exactly where the bearings need to be tightness-wise, but it doesn't come undone by itself while you're flipping it. It's a very precarious balancing act, and it's very annoying to have to deal with that. So that is one of the downsides of bearings. Similar to washers, it's like there's no like, you don't just like tighten the crap out of it and then leave it like you do with bushings a lot of the times. It's like you have to babysit it and sort of like find the exact right tightness where you have perfect tolerances but also great swing. And if you go too tight, it'll catch like so. You can see the handle swing here is great. The handle swing on this guy will not be as great. Yeah, look at that. See how it kind of like slows down and catches at certain parts? That's because the bearings are a little too tight in this one. And that's a problem that you have to deal with bearings. Whereas with this guy, it's completely tightened and it has perfectly smooth handle swing across both directions. And so, you know, this one similarly does have great handle swing across both directions, but that's one of the problems with bearings in general, is that it's just harder to tune ever so slightly. You know, it's not as bad as washers, and to be fair, washers aren't that bad either, but it is much more of a like finding the exact tightness sort of process. So yeah, that is my Omeme. I'm very happy about it. I'll probably end up This will almost certainly end up in the yearly roundup video, you know, my Balisong collection video coming sometime next year. This will definitely be in there because I'm happy to have an Omeme again. I'm especially happy for it to be a live blade like this. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I've been very much enjoying flipping it. It's been basically in my pocket for multiple days at this point, and I'm very happy about it. I've kind of been going between this and the Invictus the past 2 days, which has been an interesting thing because they flip extremely differently. Like, if you hand this Balisong to anybody, I think one of the things that they'll notice immediately, like for me, this was my first Balisong on bearings. When I bought this was the first Balisong I had flipped that was on bearings. And immediately you notice how fast it is. Like, it is a quick Balisong, which is terrifying. Because if you've never flipped a Balisong on bearings, you're not used to the way that it carries momentum. So if I've handed this to a couple people and like they've been intimidated by it because it's really fast. You need to be confident about the moves you're making and what you're doing, or you're gonna lose it and have problems getting cut and stuff like that. But if you play your cards right, it's a very nice time. It's a nice flipper. It feels awesome. I don't know about the other blade profiles. I think they all have slightly different weight characteristics, but this Japanese buoy, it's really dope. Really dope. Big fan of it. Also, I think even with that rattle, I think it sounds pretty good. I will say it's a little scratched. I didn't expect it to be in perfect condition at all, to be fair. I got this for a fantastic price. I'm very, very thankful for it. But it is a little scratched, so I'm kind of thinking I should send it off to a modder and get something done with it. So if you guys would like to see this Balisong modded, let me know what you think I should get done and who I should send it to, because I really think that this one, for me, it's kind of like the Balisong that got away, right? Like, I've had it twice and sold it twice, and I don't intend on selling this one, especially now that I have that buoy profile. So I intend on keeping this one. So I feel like it kind of deserves a spa day of some kind. So let me know what you guys think I should do anodization-wise. You know, should I do something that accentuates the holes? I was kind of thinking getting it blackened in some way, maybe blackened and then polished on the face or something so that the black is inside of the holes but nowhere else. I don't know. I feel like that could be really cool. I feel like there's a lot of different ideas that could happen. So let me know what you think. And yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for this one. Once again, thank you to Aiden for sending me this wonderful, wonderful Balisong. I have been enjoying it greatly. And yeah, I think that's kind of all I have to say right now. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.